Peter Roundhill, ¿cómo estás? Hace mucho que no te vemos.
Hola, Alfredo. Hace mucho, mucho tiempo, ¿verdad?
Hace mucho tiempo. ¿Cómo estás, Peter? ¿Cómo estás de salud? ¿Cómo estás de familia? En general, ¿cómo estás, Peter?
Muy bien, gracias. Todo está bien, mi familia, la vida, todo está bien, gracias.
Qué bueno. ¿Tu español está muy bien?
No, hace mucho que habla en español, pero mi hija
Ajá.
estudia español en la escuela.
Bien,
Eh, eh,
bien.
Su español es mejor que el mío.
Wow, pues el tuyo es muy bueno, muy bueno. Qué gusto. 35 años que no te vemos.
Ah,
Treinta y
sí,
cinco años.
sí, sí.
Sí.
Ujú.
Oye,
Hace mucho.
Peter, nos gustaría mucho saber cuál es la historia detrás de haberte venido a estudiar a León, Guanajuato. ¿Cuándo veniste a estudiar a Lux? Acuérdanos.
En 1987.
87.
Y
¿Y
fue
estudiaste un año o 2 años o 3 años?
un año, un
Un año.
año, estaba en León por 10 meses, creo.
Estuviste 10 meses en León. Ok.
Ujú.
Y platícanos, ¿cuál es la historia detrás de venirte a México? ¿Quién te envió? ¿Tú decidiste? ¿Tus papás te mandaron? ¿Cuál es la historia?
Fue estudiante de intercambio del Club de Rotario.
Ok.
So I finished high school in Canada, and then I went and spent a year in Mexico. So in León, lived with a family, went to school. Mhm.
Ok, ok. Y dime, Peter, ¿cómo fue tu experiencia en el Lux? ¿Te la pasaste bien? ¿Te la pasaste mal? ¿Fue difícil al principio? Cuéntanos cómo fue tu experiencia.
Muy bien. I didn't speak any Spanish at the beginning,
Ok,
so that was challenging. But the school didn't make me uh, take the courses or have to write the exams because I couldn't. So I spent, I guess, class time reading Spanish books and trying to learn Spanish.
ok.
At the beginning, the only class I sort of understood was math.
Math. Okay, okay. It was fast. Did you learn fast? Did it take time for you to learn and having a conversation with people? I mean, how much time did it take for you to be fluent?
I don't know if I ever got fluent. I don't pick up languages easily.
Okay,
So some of the other exchange students were able to pick it up much better than I was. I need to
okay,
study a language. I need to read it and learn it. I don't pick it up quickly.
okay.
I spoke French before going to Mexico, so that really helped
Oh,
me. Mhm.
okay. By the way, I didn't ask you, Peter. Where are you from? Where are you right now?
I'm in North Vancouver, so in the city of Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. Here.
Canada. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. You've been there for all your life, or
No,
you came there when?
2007. So
2000.
before going to Lux, I lived in a small town in the interior British Columbia, about 8 hours from Vancouver.
Mm.
After Lux, I returned and I lived in Victoria, British Columbia, and I traveled abroad for a number of years, and then went back, studied in Victoria, and then moved to Vancouver in 2007.
So you're a Canadian and you've been in Canada all your life, except for that year on Mexico.
No, I lived in Japan for about 6 years.
6 years.
Yeah,
Mm,
yeah, yeah,
interesting.
yeah.
Do you speak some Japanese today?
Yes,
You
yes.
do.
Yeah, but my Japanese at its best was better than my Spanish,
Uh-huh.
but now they're both terrible.
I don't think so. I think your Spanish is it's incredibly good. Um, Peter, quiero preguntarte, ¿cuánto usas el idioma español en tu vida el día de hoy? ¿Todos los días, a veces o casi nunca hablas español?
Casi nunca, casi nunca. De vez en cuando con mi hija, no mucho, pero un poco con ella.
Mm,
She doesn't think I speak very good Spanish, so I speak to her in Spanish just to bug her and tell her my Spanish is better.
ajá,
Um, me, uh, my sister-in-law is from Argentina,
ujú.
and I don't speak with her in Spanish, but when her Argentinian family come and visit, I will speak in Spanish. So
You do.
uh,
Awesome, awesome.
uh, tal vez 5 veces al año,
Okay.
no mucho.
Qué bueno. Oye, Peter, ¿y el idioma español te ayudó en algún momento en tu vida? ¿En algún momento en tu vida dijiste, qué bueno que sé hablar español?
Yeah, yeah. Traveling in Spain. Um, Also, even though my Spanish wasn't great, después de México, estudiaba 3 años español en la universidad.
Ok,
Just one class per year.
ok.
And when I lived in Japan, I was managing language schools and teaching English, and I taught some Spanish as well.
Oh, you did.
Yeah.
Awesome. Great.
Mhm.
Peter, uh, do you remember everybody on the, I mean, sometimes you forget names, you forget faces, but do you still remember your friends at Lux? Do you
I,
have like
I,
any memories?
Oh, I remember a lot of names. I'm
You do?
surprised at how many names. I still have photos of my time in
You
Mexico.
have
So
pictures?
I have a number of them here of Luke's. Uh,
Where you have an
here-
album?
Here's one. I don't know
Oh,
if you can see it, but you might recognize a
that's
couple of
me.
people. Yeah, yeah, you look
That's
exactly the
actually
same.
me.
You're.
Oh,
I think
show,
you're
show
wearing the
me
same
that again.
shirt.
Show me. That's
You're wearing the same
Ricardo,
shirt. It looks like the same color.
Oscar.
Yeah,
That's one. You have
yeah.
another one?
And I got a few here. This is La Foca.
Oh, that's funny. La
My
foca.
one of my memories of Foca was I think it was my first day. He said that in Canada and
Uh-huh.
United States, when people say hello, they all wave their hands like this. And he told me that in Mexico, when you
Uh-huh.
want to say hello to somebody, you go like this. So that's one thing I remember of Foca. One thing I remember about you, Alfredo, was
Uh-huh.
making noises in the class. So whether that
Okay.
be chicken noises or other ones, or tormenting some of the teachers, especially the math teacher. I have fond memories of
Making noises.
some,
Oh my.
some of the fun.
Oh,
Here's
oh my God.
here's another photo
Oh, let me
with
see that. Let me see that. Oh,
most of
that's
the
me.
most of the
That.
class members in Quinto and Luke's.
Oh my goodness, I can recognize everybody there.
Yeah.
Oh yes,
So
Jorge
there's
Uribe, Miriam
Jorge,
Fonseca,
Claudia,
Susel, Jessica, Alejandro, Germán, oh my God,
Hector,
América,
Carlos.
Carlos
Yeah.
Mondragón, Héctor Pedrosa. Wow, that's a
Yeah.
great picture. Do
Yeah.
you have
So
more?
yeah, I have a few. I think this one has what Pili, Claudia, Rosandra, and me
Yeah,
when I had a fuller head of hair.
yeah.
Uh, there's I don't know if you remember here a couple of the other exchange students like
Brian? No,
Tyson and Marie, who were
Tyson
both
and
both
Marie.
from the United States. Here's
Hopefully, you can give me their phone number so I can get in touch with them.
yeah,
Yeah,
I don't have their phone numbers, but I might. I'm not sure. I know Tyson. I think is a photographer in Portland. I
yes.
did connect with him a few years ago.
Uh-huh.
I might be able to see what I can find. And here's another one, Sylvia and
Alejandro.
Alejandro.
Oh my goodness, that's so good. Silvia and
Yeah.
Alejandro. It's good that you have those pictures there.
Hmm.
Awesome. Wow, wow, Peter,
Yeah,
that's
I have
amazing.
great memories of my time in Mexico.
You do. And we have good memories about you. Actually, right now, I'm going to show a small video where you are on the classroom. It's so funny because I'm taking the eraser and I'm doing it like this,
Yeah.
and all the powder is around you. It's so funny. I'm showing you that video right now.
Okay.
It's so funny. Peter, ¿qué hiciste después de Lux? ¿Dónde trabajaste? ¿A qué te dedicaste? ¿Estudiaste alguna universidad? Cuéntanos qué sucedió inmediatamente después de Lux.
Estudié en Victoria, en la Universidad de Victoria, en Canadá. Estudié la ciencia política y la economía.
Ok, ciencia política y economía. ¿Dónde trabajaste inmediatamente?
Un año en el banco y después me casó y yo y mi marida fuimos a Europa por un año a trabajar y a viajar.
Ok.
So we spent about 4 months in England,
Okay.
about 3 months in France, and another couple of months traveling around.
Okay. Awesome.
Uh,
And then what happened? I mean, eh, tell me about more about your life in terms of labor.
yeah. Soon after that, I worked for another year, and then we went to Japan for about 6 years, and I was managing language schools there. I lived in 3 different cities. The last city was Tokyo. And I worked right outside the busiest train station in the world, in one of the biggest cities in the world. And when I moved back to Canada, I got a job in a place that maybe had a population of about 300 people. So 2 totally different places on the planet.
Amazing, amazing. And then you came back to Canada. What else did you do in Canada?
I ran a nonprofit camp for a few years. I was the executive director of a children's summer camp. I worked for a financial institution, working with nonprofit organizations for a number of years. And then I went back to university. I got my master's of business, and now I run my own. I did some consulting, and now I run my own business, a website about Vancouver.
You run your own business. Háblame de tu negocio. Actualmente, ¿de qué se trata tu negocio? ¿Qué haces? ¿Cuál es tu día a día?
So I run the website vancouversbestplaces.com, which is a website that promotes best places, things to do in the Metro Vancouver region. So it's a website. If you in Mexico, if you Google Vancouver events in August, what's happening this weekend in Vancouver, Vancouver events at Christmas, generally our website comes up at the top, and that's where we get a lot of our traffic.
Awesome. So if I go to Vancouver, first thing I have to do is check your website to know what's going on.
Yes. Yep. Yep.
Awesome.
And yeah, if you're coming to the city, you want to find out what's happening, where to go, what to see, do that. If you want to see what I'm doing, follow Van's Best Places on Instagram.
Awesome. So guys, if you're looking at this video, please bookmark this website so you can know what's happening in Vancouver. Oye, Peter, platícanos un poco sobre tu familia. Ya mencionaste que te casaste. Platícanos, ¿tuviste hijos? ¿De qué edad son? Háblanos de tu familia.
Sure. So I got married, I guess I was maybe 24. Got married to my lovely wife, Christina. We had a honeymoon, drove down to California and back. And then soon after, we went to Europe, and we lived in Europe for about 8 months.
Okay.
Working, traveling, studied at a French language school for a few weeks, worked at a youth hostel, worked at an ice cream shop in south of England for a while. Had a great time. Yeah. So after that, we lived in Canada for another year. I worked at a bank, and then we went to Japan and lived in Japan for a number of years. Had kids after coming back from Japan, and I have a son and a daughter. My son's now 21. My daughter is 19.
Mm,
Both are at university. My son is huge. He's far
tall.
bigger. Yeah, yeah. My son is very big, and my daughter is tiny.
That's
But
great. That's great.
both wonderful, beautiful kids. My
Mhm,
daughter's studying university, coming back next week.
mhm,
She's fluent in French and has been studying Spanish for about 3 years in high school. So her Spanish is very good as well. And
mhm.
my son has just left. He's studying university, but has a summer job. He has his dream summer job. He is a fishing guide up the west coast of Canada at
Mhm.
a very fancy fishing lodge. And
Mm,
he fishes for about 10 hours every day,
10
uh,
hours a day?
catching salmon and halibut.
That's professional fishing.
Yes, yeah, it's a dream job. I think he'd probably do it for free, but he's paid to take people from all over North America on very exclusive, fancy fishing trips, and spends the whole day
Oh,
out on the water. Yeah, catching salmon, halibut. Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
amazing, amazing. Oye, Peter, a veces en nuestra vida tenemos algunos retos, algunos problemas. A veces problemas de salud, a veces problemas de familia, a veces problemas de dinero, a veces perdemos a un ser querido muy importante. Eh, ¿Has tenido algún reto en tu vida que hayas superado o no? ¿O tu vida es muy tranquila? Platícanos qué retos has tenido.
I've been very, very lucky, and hopefully I continue to be. Family's healthy. Yeah, I've done some pretty exciting things in my life. Challenges. I've had some pretty challenging jobs.
Okay.
That yeah, I had to overcome some pretty challenging situations. So that was tough. But yeah, I did all right. In I've had a few in Japan. I was the manager of a language school that had a very serious labor management issues, where and quite a hostile work environment.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, somehow managed to make things all right. And after a year, things were pretty good. But that was a pretty stressful
Stressful.
job for me.
Wow. Muy bien, Peter. Pues me da muchísimo gusto. Oye, Peter, a veces nos ponemos a recordar nuestra vida y, y hay momentos en donde tomamos decisiones que no fueron las mejores o que pudieron haber sido más adecuadas y nos pudo haber dado más. ¿Hay algo que tú quisieras cambiar en tu vida? ¿Has pensado que en algún momento pudiste haber cambiado algo y te hubiera dejado en un mejor?
Hmm. I I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe. Hmm. No, I can't really think of anything. I think I've been pretty lucky.
You
Maybe
were
job wise, it might have that my current job. I love my job, but I work crazy hours. So maybe if I could go back in time, maybe something similar, but not quite so crazy demanding. But I'm pretty lucky with my job. What I do, I visit attractions, I take photos, video, so things that a lot of people do in their free time.
awesome. Are you the only employee in your own company or you have several people?
It's myself, one other full time person,
Uh,
and three right now, three part time.
okay.
One of them is a Mexican from Mexico City,
Oh yeah?
but lives here in Vancouver.
Do you speak some Spanish with him? Not at all.
Not at all.
Mhm.
His grandmother was here for a few years. So actually, I did last couple of years. I did speak a fair bit because his grandmother was in town, living here, and she spoke zero English. So
Mhm.
and she lives nearby. So anytime she had a problem, or if I spoke with her, it was always in Spanish.
Awesome. Hey, Peter, ¿Todavía tienes algún contacto con algún compañero de Lux en León? ¿De repente le hablas por teléfono a alguien?
Mm, Not much, not really. Very occasionally via Facebook.
Ajá.
I do see posts. I don't use Facebook for personal reasons very much because I use it so much for business. So hardly ever go on it. But I have been in touch and heard and seen what a few people are doing online from Luke's.
Awesome. Do you mind if I share with some people your phone number so they can text you or get in touch with you? Is that okay for you?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or my email. My email is
Email.
yeah, Peter at vancouversbestplaces.com. So it's the website with Peter.
That's what we're gonna share so people can get in touch with you and tell you what they feel. Peter, te quiero hacer una última pregunta. Peter, ¿eres feliz? ¿Sí o no? ¿Y por qué?
Yeah. I'm very happy. I feel very fortunate. I live in a beautiful city, have a great, wonderful family, and yeah, have an exciting creative job. So yeah, I feel very fortunate.
Great.
And I've had the opportunity to do some pretty amazing things. Living in Mexico, living in Japan. Very fond memories of my time in Mexico. I did some things that I would never have been able to do here. So there's some of the craziest things I did in Mexico. I went to a few operations. So my host family, the father was a doctor, had his own hospital, and I attended a number of operations. I also got to go in a bullfight and go in a bull ring and fight a baby calf. That was
Okay.
it was
No, tell me about you've been in several operations, but not yourself being operated. Just
that's
look.
right. Yeah. So when I was in León, so my host family, I lived with Dr. Chavez, and he had his own hospital, and I would often go to the hospital, go and have my dinner there sometimes. And I was only in maybe Mexico for about a month. My Spanish wasn't very good, and one of the doctors came to me and asked if I wanted to have a look at the operating room. And I
Okay.
understood. I thought he was just going to show me an empty operating room. But when I went down, I went into the doctor's room, and there were a dozen doctors all in medical outfits, and they handed me an outfit, and I went in, and I saw a cesarean section, baby being born by accident.
Wow. Wow. Have you ever thought about being a doctor? No?
No, my father was the doctor.
Your father.
I would have, but I never really liked physics or chemistry. I really liked
Okay.
biology, but yeah, not chemistry or physics.
Peter, no sabes el gusto que me da verte, tengo muchos recuerdos muy bonitos de ti, eres todo un caballero, eres un gran personaje en nuestras vidas. Estoy seguro que muchos que van a ver este video van a sentir lo mismo que estoy sintiendo yo al verte. Te
Great. Well,
agradezco mucho.
it's great to see you, and yeah, my best wishes and hellos to all my friends in Mexico. I remember so many people, a lot of most names, and yeah, have wonderful memories of Mexico.
Of course, Peter. Peter, muchísimas gracias por aceptar esta entrevista. Te agradezco mucho y ojalá que en 5 años más te animes a tomar un avión y venir a León a la fiesta de los 40 años.
That'll be fun. That'll be great. Thanks, Alfredo.
Gracias, Peter. Have a wonderful day. Bye
You
bye.
too. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.